Hey everyone, here's a question that's been keeping me at night. Are we, the regular people, actually ready for what's coming with AI? And I'm not talking about some sci-fi movie stuff. I'm talking about what's happening right now. Like today. I've been diving deep into this topic for weeks, reading research papers, watching expert interviews, and honestly, some of it really scares me. But some of it also got me really excited. Today, I'm going to share my findings on how AI is going to change the lives of the common man. You know, the 9-to-5ers, folks like you and me, in the next 3 to 5 years. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I am going to do to prepare for this change. You know that feeling when your phone updates overnight and suddenly everything looks different? Well, imagine that, but it's not just your phone. It's your job, your daily routine, maybe even how you make money. That's essentially what we're dealing with here. Because here's the thing. This isn't happening in 10 years. It's happening right now. So what is AI anyway? Okay, let's break this down super simply. When people say AI, they're usually talking about a few different things, especially the latest discoveries like ChatGPT, Midjourney, and AI agents. So we're only going to talk about these popular AI technologies for the sake of this video. First, you have large language models, or LLMs. These are like really smart autocomplete systems. You know how your phone suggests the next word when you're texting? LLMs are like that, but they've read basically the entire internet. ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, these are all LLMs. Then you have AI agents. Think of these as AI systems that can actually do stuff, not just chat. Like, they can book appointments, trade stocks, or moderate content online. Though honestly, most of the agents we have right now are just fancy chatbots. And then there's multimodal AI. That's the stuff that can create images, videos, or music. The thing is, all of this started decades ago. The first AI research happened in the 1950s. But it's only in the last few years that it became good enough for regular people to use. It's like how electric cars existed for over a century, but only recently became something your neighbor might actually buy. Here's a reality check of what's actually happening. Let's start with the numbers that made my jaw drop. According to the World Economic Forum's latest report from 2025, we're looking at 170 million new jobs being created this decade. That sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch. 92 million jobs will disappear. Think about it like musical chairs, but with careers. There will be chairs, but there'll be different chairs. And you need to learn new skills to sit in them. Remember, the key word here is new skills. We'll come to that in a bit. So how fast is this really happening? It took thousands of years to go from horse carriages to cars, but only 10 to 20 years from cars to aeroplanes. But here's what's crazy about AI. It's moving even faster than that. We went from AI is science fiction to my grandma is using ChatGPT in basically 2 years.
I've told more people on the ship about how you look things up on ChatGPT.
سعی خودمون میکنم بعداً بهتون خبر میدم.
آفرین. هر وقت خواستی من اینجام. موفق باشی.
باشه عزیزم. باشه.
Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, you know, the company behind ChatGPT, has been saying we need to give society time to adapt. But here's what's wild. ChatGPT got 100 million users in just 2 months. To put that in perspective, it took smartphones 5 years to reach that many people, and the internet took 7 years. Remember Moore's law? It says computer power doubles every 2 years. For decades, that was pretty accurate, but lately, it's been slowing down. We're hitting the physical limits of how small we can make computer chips. Enter NVIDIA. You know, the company that makes graphics cards for gaming? Well, they accidentally became the most important company in AI because their chips are perfect for AI calculations, especially the new ones. Jensen Huang, the co-founder of NVIDIA, openly said that Moore's law's dead. They went from being worth 40 billion to over 1 trillion in value in just a few years, all because of AI. Coming back to the actual question of how AI is going to impact you, let's be real about who's at risk right now. If your job involves doing the same thing over and over again, you need to pay attention. Here are some jobs that may disappear first. But here's what's interesting. New jobs are popping up too. I know someone who worked at a mid-sized marketing agency. 2 years ago, they had a couple of copywriters to help them with their clients' website copy. Now, they have 0 copywriters on their team. The last time they ever worked with a copywriter was around the time ChatGPT became popular. You can see the coincidence. But they hired more SEOs and web developers to their team. Same amount of people, but different skill sets. Again, I'm stressing the term skills here. We're definitely coming back to this one. Now, you might think I'm being pessimistic. Here's a snippet from an interview with Anthropic's CEO.
I really worry, particularly at the entry level, that the AI models are very much at the center of what an entry level human worker would do. And so it's hard to estimate, exactly what the impact would be.
Now, let's talk about something important. Is all of this just hype? You might think that the Anthropic CEO, being an AI expert, knows better, right? But that is also why we should take his advice with a grain of salt. People like Tom Siebel from C3.ai warn of an AI bubble and that market expectations might be unrealistic, and returns from AI capabilities will keep diminishing as we hit technical limits. He compares the current AI frenzy to previous tech bubbles. That's like the CEO of a candy company saying, maybe we're eating too much sugar. But here's the thing, even if some of it is hype, the practical stuff is already working. AI is already helping doctors read x-rays, helping farmers monitor crops, and helping me write better emails. And yes, I used AI to help research for this video and write some of the script too. Let's talk about the future economic and social impacts of AI. How would it affect your lifestyle, culture, and everything in between? If you know this guy, you probably know where I'm going with this. If not, here's a small snippet.
Many jobs, maybe most jobs will disappear, but new jobs will emerge. Most jobs that people do today didn't exist 200 years ago. There will be new jobs. The really big problem will be how to retrain people.
Yuval Noah Harari is a historian, an author, and a renowned thinker of our age. He's been very vocal about what AI might do to our economy and society, and he doesn't sugarcoat it. By the way, if you've never had a chance to read any of his works, I would highly recommend it. So Yuval talks about something called the useless class. And before you get mad at me, that's his term, not mine.
Yes, in the Industrial Revolution, we saw the creation of a new class of the urban proletariat. And much of the political and social history of the last 200 years involved what to do with this class and the new problems and opportunities. Now we see the creation of a new massive class of useless people. As computers become better and better in more and more fields, there is a distinct possibility that computers will outperform us in most tasks and will make humans redundant. And then the big political and economic question of the 21st century will be, what do we need humans for? Or at least, what do we need so many humans for?
But here's what he means. Unlike other big technological changes in history, AI might not just shift jobs around. It might actually make huge groups of people unemployable. Not because they're lazy or stupid, but because the technology is advancing so fast that traditional skills become obsolete overnight. Think about this for a second. Harari gives this example of a 50-year-old taxi driver whose job gets taken over by self-driving cars. Now, they're supposed to reinvent themselves, maybe become a yoga instructor or learn coding. But let's be honest here, how realistic is that? Starting over at 50 is incredibly hard. It's not just about learning new skills, it's about completely rewiring how you think and work. And here's the scary part. Nobody, not even the experts, knows exactly what skills you'll need in the future. So how do we prepare for something we can't even predict? That's the question that's haunting me. And it's probably what brought you to this video too. But I think there's some light at the end of the tunnel here. Think about it like this. Remember when calculators came out? Accountants didn't disappear. They just stopped doing basic math by hand and started focusing on more complex financial planning. The same might happen here too. But it's going to be challenging for sure, at least in the beginning phases. Now here's the million-dollar question. Can regular people like us actually keep up with this pace of change? Historically, humans are pretty good at adapting. We went from horses to cars, from letters to email, from maps to GPS. But this feels different because it's happening so much faster. To be honest, I can't even keep up with the latest updates that these new AI image and video models are releasing day by day. I saw this TikTok where someone's dad learned how to use ChatGPT to help with the small business taxes, and within a week, he was using it to write job listings and customer emails. That gives me hope. But I also see teachers struggling because their students are using AI to write essays, and they don't know how to adapt their teaching methods fast enough. The key difference this time is that AI isn't just changing one industry, it's changing all of them at once. It's like if the internet, smartphones, and social media all launched in the same year. Eric Brynjolfsson from Stanford, who studies the economic impact of technology, says, "The outcome depends on how well our institutions adapt," which means it's not just about individual people learning new skills. Our schools, governments, and companies need to change too. Okay, so after all this research, here's what I'm actually doing to prepare. And these are things anyone can start today. Step number 1. I'm learning to work with AI and not against it. Every day, I spend 30 minutes using ChatGPT or Claude for something practical. Yesterday, I used it to help brainstorm video ideas. Today, I used it to explain a complicated concept I was struggling with. The point is to get comfortable with it. If you're interested in a comprehensive AI use case study, I would highly recommend you watch Andrej Karpathy's video on how I use LLMs. Andrej is one of the co-founders of OpenAI, and this video really helped me understand the way you can use LLMs in your daily life. I'll leave the link in the description below if you want to check that out. Step number 2. I'm focusing on skills that AI can't do. Things like creative problem solving, understanding emotions, building relationships, and making ethical decisions. These are still very human skills. I'm also learning what AI is bad at, which is coming up with new ideas. AI makes use of existing data, so it's not as good as yourself in coming up with new opportunities and thoughts. It sometimes makes up facts, and it can't understand the context the way humans can, at least for now. So here's something I try to do almost every day. I try to brainstorm ideas about general things in my life, like for example, 10 unique ideas for my video content, or ideas for meal prep with stuff that's already in my kitchen. And that gives me random dish ideas that doesn't exist on the internet. Things like that. It helps my brain work and not fall into the trap of going to ChatGPT for everything. Step number 3. I'm building a financial buffer. Look, if there's going to be a disruption, I want to be prepared. I'm trying to save more money and diversify my income streams. Maybe that means starting a side hustle, learning a new skill, or just being smarter about my spending. Step number 4. I'm staying informed without getting overwhelmed. I follow a few reliable sources for AI news, but I'm not doom scrolling for AI news on Twitter all day. Information is good, but anxiety is not helpful. I'm also linking to my favorite newsletters and other AI news sources below if you want to check that out too. And the final step, the 10-to-1 scenario preparation. Here's a harsh reality check. In some fields, if 10 people are currently doing a job, AI might make it so that only one person is needed. That means 9 out of 10 people need to either level up their skills or find something else to do. So my strategy is simple. I want to be the one person who stays. Or I want to be ready to pivot to something that's completely different. That depends on personal preference. So, what do you think? Is the common man ready for the AI revolution? Honestly, most of us aren't. But the good news is that we can be. This isn't about becoming a tech expert overnight. It's about being curious instead of scared, being proactive instead of waiting for change to happen to you. I think Satya Nadella from Microsoft put it best when he said, AI should be a co-pilot, not a replacement. The future probably isn't humans versus AI, it's humans working with AI. The people who will thrive are the ones who start learning now, who stay adaptable, and who remember that at the end of the day, AI is a tool created by humans for humans. Will there be challenges? Absolutely. Will some people get left behind? Probably. But will there also be incredible opportunities for those who are prepared? I really believe so. My advice? Start small, stay curious, and don't panic. We've adapted to massive changes before, and we can do it again. I hope this video helped you understand the impact of AI a little better. I'll be coming up with more interesting and curious topics like these, and if you want to be in the loop, click the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.